I know there's a lot going on regarding sustainability and localization, but there isn't so far an easy to follow framework that LSPs and freelancers alike can follow, but also that speaks to the client side, like the users of the translation work that we do. And if there is, we would love to partner with these people and work on this framework. But again, like I said, Rich will say something about that. And therefore, I now give the floor to our CTO, Rich.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Tanya, and to everyone for the opportunity to even be here today. Before jumping in there, my primary focus has been, just seeing the great work on the Elevate side and the opportunities we're trying to provide to our linguists. Another piece of that is the technology that we're trying to provide to them. So, especially for younger, newer linguists to the industry, we try to provide an environment that's state-of-the-art technology, like with BureauWorks that we're working with, that has, all of the technical offerings of the type of work they would do as a paid translator, for a language service provider. So, aside from the training that we're offering, we're trying to make a working professional environment where when they accept work from us as a volunteer, they're working in a very similar process, workflow, and set of tools that would be similar in a commercial environment. So I think those two things tie together. And as I'm seeing all of the things that OLI is doing, a few things, talk with Tanya and others on the team, there's a couple of these additional areas of focus where the OLI goes to school and the sustainability that is kind of fed out of that. We try to ensure that we support organizations who are, pushing for sustainability, but, there's a lot of educational things we can do, and a lot of these areas of focus span all industries, right? Just about turning monitors off and just, not, throwing soda cans into the creek and all the basic type things that are there to help support our ever struggling planet. But specific to our industry, there are some interesting things. Everyone knows everything about how AI is just taking over every conversation and every marketing piece or whatever. But I think what's not fully known as much is the impacts of AI from a computational power perspective, from a data farm and data server perspective on how much energy it takes to run AI, how much energy it takes to support the back end, just database, just all of the pieces that go in technically to support AI are very, very heavy from a computational and environmental perspective, because all these server farms have to be air conditioned, they have to be electrified. It's just massive. So just certain knowledge things like, you think, oh, I just want to run AI through something and say, okay, it's just real quick and easy, fun. But there is a price behind that. So just even little things like only running AI when you need it. If there's large data sets from a translation perspective and you want to read AI over, 500,000 words to kind of see what the quality looks like, that has a very, very heavy footprint. So being mindful of the use of AI and just using it from a business and strategic perspective versus just willy-nilly, from a, like in a language service environment, referencing translation memory is tremendously less impactful than AI. So models set up to where we can, make better use of TM and not to say, oh, we'll just have AI created again. That is a very sustainable, unfriendly approach. So anyway, I'm kind of babbling a bit, but those are the kind of things that we're looking at to ensure that not only we as an industry in localization are doing the basics, for environmental and sustainability, but we're doing some things that are very specific to our industry, and we'll be researching those and publishing that information to all those who want to learn and share again. So those are my thoughts in those couple fronts, and hopefully that was interesting or helpful. Questions?
I have a question actually.
Yeah.
Or maybe more of an observation. I think people also don't realize it's kind of like a good chef will always have a good mise en place in place, right? Where they prepare everything so that when they actually start cooking, they have all their ingredients at hand, they're peeled, they're chopped, they're whatever, right? And I think the same is true for any kind of project in business, and that includes localization. So the better a project is prepared, um, the more effective we can be in executing that, and thus reduce, like, the over the lifetime or life cycle of a project, reduce the carbon footprint there as well, right? And I think those are things that not everybody thinks about when they set out to find a translator or an agency to get their things translated. And like this back and forth via email or meetings or whatever, I think a lot more parts go into localizing sustainably than first meets the eye. And I know you agree with that, Rich, but I just thought I'd mention it because when you really start thinking about it, it can blow your mind how complex large translation projects can get. And we've seen that at OLI, we've seen that in our own professional lives. Yeah, so all that to say, it's a project, or both of your projects are very, very dear to my heart for very personal reasons. And yeah, so thank you so much for that, for taking the lead on that.